In a world full of noise, silence is rare. We scroll endlessly, we text instantly, we overshare constantly. Everyone is trying to prove something, to say something, to be seen. And yet, what do women find magnetic? Not the man who shouts the loudest, not the man who oversells himself, but the man who can remain silent, steady, unshaken. Why? Because silence is not emptiness. Silence is presence. Silence is strength. Picture this. Two men walk into a room. One talks nonstop, eager to impress, filling every gap with chatter. The other sits calmly, observes quietly, speaks only when necessary. Which one commands more attention? Which one seems more mysterious? Which one do women find themselves drawn to, wondering what's going on beneath the surface? The answer is obvious. Women become obsessed not with what a man constantly shows, but with what he withholds. Silence creates space. Space creates tension. Tension creates attraction. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology. They knew that true power lies in self-mastery, the ability to remain calm, disciplined, and above the chaos. And this, my friend, is why silence is the secret weapon of magnetic masculine energy. Set expand with relatable scenarios. Texting too much versus holding back, reacting emotionally vs observing calmly, etc. Show why silence builds curiosity, respect, and attraction. Let's go deeper. Why does silence affect women so profoundly? Psychology offers 3 answers: curiosity and mystery. The human mind hates unanswered questions. When you don't reveal everything, she fills the gaps with her imagination. The less you speak, the more she wonders. Curiosity turns into obsession. Value and scarcity. We value what is rare. Words, attention, validation, when freely given, they lose power. But when you ration them, they become precious. Your silence makes your attention valuable. Projection and fantasy. Silence allows her to project her own story onto you. She imagines your thoughts, your emotions, your depth. She writes the narrative in her own mind. And often, that fantasy is more powerful than anything you could have said. Now, compare that with constant communication. Texting her every morning, replying instantly, explaining your feelings at every turn. At first, it feels good, but soon, the mystery dies. She no longer wonders who you are. She knows. And once she knows, the obsession fades. Women don't become obsessed with men they fully understand. They become obsessed with men who leave them questioning, men who hold something back, men who stay centered in silence. This doesn't mean being cold or manipulative. It means embodying restraint. It means knowing that your silence is not emptiness, it's power. Expand with examples of female behavior. Women checking a man's social media when he's not texting, becoming more invested when he pulls back, etc. Contrast desperate vs. grounded masculine energy. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, understood something timeless as self-mastery is the foundation of true power. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." And Seneca warned, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." What do all these lessons have in common? Discipline, control, silence. The man who cannot be silent is the man who is enslaved by his emotions. The man who must text her back instantly, who must explain himself, who must fill every pause with words. He is not in control. He is ruled by impulse, by fear of losing her. But the Stoic man is different. He does not react. He does not chase. He does not fear silence. He embraces it. He uses it. Because silence is not withdrawal. It is presence without words. It is the quiet power of a man who needs nothing from anyone, not even her attention, to feel complete. And this is where silence transforms into magnetic masculine energy. When you can be silent, when you can observe, when you can resist the urge to overshare. You send a clear message: I am in control. I am grounded. I am not desperate for your validation. That is masculine. That is magnetic. That is Stoic. Expand with practical Stoic techniques: journaling instead of venting, pausing before replying, choosing action over explanation. Relate to dating and relationships. Now let's translate philosophy into real-world dynamics. Here are 3 ways silence makes women obsessed with you in communication. Instead of flooding her with texts, you reply with patience. Instead of long explanations, you say what's necessary and stop there. Your silence leaves space. That space pulls her in. She reads your last message. She waits for your response. She thinks about you more than she admits. In conflict, when emotions run high, most men argue, explain, defend. But the Stoic man knows silence is more powerful than words. By refusing to fight fire with fire, he remains calm, collected, untouchable. That calmness creates respect, and respect fuels attraction, in presence. When you're with her, your silence is not awkwardness, but confidence. You don't need to fill every moment with chatter. You're comfortable in stillness, and that stillness makes her lean in, curious, wanting to know more. Think about this woman talk about the quiet guy all the time. Why? Because he's a puzzle. His silence makes them ask questions. What's he thinking? Why doesn't he try harder? What's beneath that calm surface? And curiosity, my friend, is the seed of obsession. Your silence forces her to lean into the mystery. It makes her work for your attention. It shifts the power dynamic without manipulation. Because silence is not a trick. It's who you are when you're disciplined, when you're grounded, when you're stoic. Expand with storytelling examples of how men lose attraction by talking too much versus how a calm, quiet presence draws women in effortlessly. Silence without inner strength is just awkwardness. But silence, combined with stoic discipline, becomes magnetic masculine energy. So how do you embody it? Here are 4 stoic practices. Master your emotions. Don't react to every message, every mood swing. Reflect. Respond only when grounded. Value action over words. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be." Be one. Don't explain yourself endlessly. Live your values. Let your actions speak. Be comfortable alone. The man who cannot sit in silence with himself is doomed to chase noise from others. Build a life so full of purpose that her attention is a bonus, not a necessity. Use silence as a test. When she withdraws, don't panic. Don't chase. Let the silence reveal who you really are. If you remain calm, disciplined, and steady, you've already passed the test. Remember, women don't become obsessed with men who need them. They become obsessed with men who need nothing. And silence, when used with strength, communicates exactly that. So the next time you feel the urge to over-explain, to over-text, to overreact, stop. Breathe. Stay silent. Because silence is not emptiness. Silence is presence. And presence is what makes a man truly magnetic. Dawson. Closing. Return to theme. Reinforce silence as a stoic superpower. End with call to action. Embrace silence. Embrace discipline. Embody magnetic masculine energy.